Hi, Chris Ford here from chrisandjennyford.com, and welcome to part 10 of our Internet Basics course. So a little bit more detail on how do I get my website files created. So we've got a domain name, we've got a host, now we need to create the files that are going to make up our website. So there's really four main ways that you can create the files for your website. The first one is to use web editing software, packages like Dreamweaver, Excite Pro or Composer. Or also you might have heard of Microsoft Front Page, although I would not recommend that. Using site building software where you don't have to do all of the building yourself. The framework is provided by the software and you just provide a set of information that allows the software to build the site for you. So examples of this are the Riptuit niche site builder, the Bands niche site builder which builds eBay commerce sites, and various other site builders that you'll find around the place on the web or built into your hosting account. The third way are content management systems, for example WordPress, Joomla, Drupal or various wiki software, or integrated site design and hosting services like BigPixie and Site Builder. These services combine together your hosting with a site design management package that's online that provides a one-stop shop for everything you need to do. So website editors, really what these do is provide you with a WYSIWYG style interface similar to a word processor like Microsoft Word or similar that allows you to build your site and pages. You can just type in there, create headings, create colors, create styles, etc., just like in a word processor. The key thing about these is their ability to create and import templates. So you can find a template on the web. There's lots of free templates around on the web if you can't build one yourself. Import that and use that within your editor, and then what you can do, all of the common elements are then part of the template, and you only for each page need to put in the pieces that change. That means that if you need to change things like menus that are on every page, you do it once and it automatically cascades across to every page on your website. Makes life very easy. They often have built-in FTP clients, which makes life nice and easy as well. So they understand your site as a whole, and you edit some pages and you say synchronize my site, and they will automatically upload to your host all the files that have changed on your PC. Makes life quite easy. Dreamweaver, which I mentioned earlier, is probably the Rolls-Royce of those. It's several $100s, but it really is a very fully featured package. Some people do get a little bit daunted by the steep learning curve. It is, as I said, very fully featured, but you can get into using it reasonably quickly, and it does have all the features you'll need in the future. Excite Pro is another website editor. It's perhaps a little bit easier to learn, but it has some limitations in that it's really designed for a particular kind of site, a niche content site with siloed architecture of multiple article pages, and it's a little difficult to do other things than that in. But that aside, for those kind of sites, it's quite a good tool. And the third option is Composer. You might also have heard of this referred to as Enview. The name changed recently with a bit of a change in the development of that. This is free open source software. You can just download it and use it. It's quite a good package. It's being developed and so it's improving all the time, and is probably worth checking out for the budget conscious amongst you. Here's a screenshot from Dreamweaver. We use Dreamweaver, so this is our homepage opened up inside Dreamweaver, and you can see the various elements of the Dreamweaver interface. So this is our homepage in the design view where you can see what it will look like. You can also click here and switch over to the code view to see the HTML that makes up our page. Down the bottom here we have all the various properties that we can select. We can do things like center it, bold, italic, apply styles, change the size and color, etc. All the normal formatting things you'd expect to see in a word processor. And over here on the right we have the file pane where we can see all of the files that make up our site. We can see them in their folder hierarchy, so we can see how our site is structured, and it's with this that we can open files to edit them, and we can also, with these controls, we can put files to our server, we can get files from the server, we can synchronize files. Very, very powerful way of managing your site. The second way you can build sites is to use site building software, and these are programs that are either online or they run on your PC and they produce website files for you. There's two main types of these. The first, which I describe as specific purpose systems. So for example, the Riptuit site builder builds niche content sites, and it's very good at that, and that's what it does. The Bands package builds eBay e-commerce sites, and that's what it does, and it does it very well. So if they're the kind of sites you want to build, these tools can be very good to allow you to build those sites quickly and easily. There are also more generic systems like the site builder that comes with many hosting accounts. My experience with these has been fairly poor. They're quite hard to use, don't produce a great result, and so I would tend to steer away from those. Here's a screenshot from inside the Riptuit site builder as an example. This is actually step 5 of 5 here, so I'm just showing you the final screen. The previous 4 screens just had boxes where I could type in the details you see here. So I put in the name of my site, the keywords associated with my site, my Google Publisher ID, my Amazon ID. I hit the next button, the site builder runs and gives me a zip file that contains all of the files that make up my site. I then upload that to my host along with a header graphic and just some plain text files that contain the words that are going to go on my pages. And the site program that the site builder creates automatically incorporates those as people visit my site. And then when you visit the site, this is what you see. All of these borders and menus, etc., are automatically created by the site builder. All I needed to provide was this header graphic and a text file with this text in it, and the site builder put it all together for me. Very, very simple way of building content niche sites. The other main way that people build websites is with content management systems, and these are database driven scripts that run on your web server. Rather than having all of the individual pages as separate files, all of your content lives inside a database, and the pages are dynamically created as someone visits. The key advantages of these kind of systems are that you can update the content directly on the website. You log into a control panel and change the content, add new pages. Makes it very easy for multiple people to access your site, and obviously very easy to access it remotely. And there's 3 main variations of these: WordPress and the other blogging platforms, Joomla and Drupal, which are more full-blown content management systems, and then the various wikis like Wikipedia and others, and you can use the software that's behind those to build a site as well. I won't really talk about those. They're mainly for community-based sites rather than commercial sites. So WordPress is not really officially a content management system, but many people do use it to create non-blog sites. One of the reasons is that it's very easy to install and maintain. There's loads of templates and plugins available on the web to download to customize it and make it unique for yourself. And it's structured in a way that is very search engine friendly. Google and the other search engines love WordPress blogs. It's very easy for the search engines to crawl your site and find all your content. So they're very good for making good search engine optimized sites. And here's an example of a WordPress site. Really there's 2 sides to it. There's the public side that your visitors see, and it's like most sites, it has a header, it has some content. In this case it also has a sidebar where we've got some ads in this case. And then behind the scenes there's a control panel that you can log into where you can manage the pages and posts on your site. You can write new pages and posts, and you can change the design, you can change the template, you can change various aspects of the design of your site, all without having to go to a web editor. You can do it all online without having to know any HTML. So a very, very good way of building sites, obviously for blogs, but also for other sites. And I'll quickly touch on the other content management system platforms. Joomla and Drupal being the main ones that you might hear about. They're both completely free open source platforms. Quite easy to install because you just install them using the Fantastico tool inside your hosting control panel, but they can be somewhat complex to configure and maintain. So I would steer away from these to begin with until you really have a site that has enough content that you need to be able to maintain and update on a regular basis to justify it. But they do have a lot of templates and plugins available on the web as well, so you can customize them very easily. And they're really good where you've got multiple people who will be editing or updating your content, where those people aren't very web savvy, who aren't going to get into Dreamweaver, for example, to update the content. You just want them to be able to log in to a simple control panel and change the website. And this is an example of a site. The users don't really know that they're looking at a site that's being driven by a content management system. Looks like any other website. It's got menus and navigation bars, etc. But again, behind the scenes is a control panel that lets you update and change all the content on the fly. So that's it really for our summary of how to get your website files created, and we'll now move on to the next part.